What up, Naughty Steppers? It's Connor Whitmore here again with another video for you on the Nawtystep channel, and it's time to tell you about some amazing producers that are ridiculously slept on. Some lesser known artists that are doing great things and deserve a huge shout out for the brilliant music they're putting out on a consistent basis. Kinda like an underrated video in that I feel they should be getting way more praise than they are, but considering they all have under 10k followers on SoundCloud, I see it more as an unveiling and prompt, if you will, to follow these guys because, as I said, they are doing amazing work on the regular. Gonna give you 5 musicians here in no particular order and supply some reasons as to why I think they are worth your follow and attention. I actually recommend not only following them but rinsing their SoundCloud pages as and when you can. I've suggested a few tracks for each one to get you started and give an insight into their respective sounds. So without further ado, let me commence with the first artist from the Dark Electronic Music Producers You Must Follow series, Bainbridge. My mate showed me this guy about a year ago, and whilst I didn't warm too much to his sound at first, this year he's really come into his own. A dubstep artist whose timing, synths and force of overall sound come together in pretty much every instance, a rarity within the genre today. Quite alien-like, luminescent, oozy sounds with a really creepy, outer-worldly feel to them. Knows exactly when to speed things up, when to tone it down. There's a real attention to detail even though he amasses such large sounds. And in spite of everything being so heavy, there's such a control to his music and clear respect for space and timing. Just has a really genuine awareness of everything going on at pretty much all times, giving his music this really complete and refined feel for the most part. And in terms of some tracks to get you started with Bainbridge, I would look at Possession, Otherworld with Parallax, and Pull Me Through, all of which were released this year. Now I couldn't do this list without bringing some trap to the table, and Nasty's blend undoubtedly owes a lot to his name. As savage as you'll get from the genre, high-pitched, ravenous, spacious, super fierce music. Many trap producers out there today going full pelt with this style, but when it comes to timing, volume of sounds and the interaction between them, Nasty is the absolute pro at current. Such a ridiculously inviting swing and rhythm to these beats. Even though they are menacing on the surface, you find yourself being lulled in more and more as you listen to them. Does really well to create a spooky, eerie vibe in his tunes too, through the introductions, midsections and outros. A real scene setter with his music. Includes such a wide variety of sounds as well, from the screeches to low-end wubs and dubstep growls. One of the most well-rounded trap producers out there today, in my opinion. And if you want to get into some nasty, then the tracks I would recommend are Terror, Swisher with Bad Rapper, and Coop. In the Coop. Following on from there, if you are looking for some absolute filth to get into, you need look no further than the mind-melting dubstep duo, Fatal. Almost blinding tunes that sit in this really nice middle ground between being simply structured and having a really grand, epic feel to them. The sounds in the drops being the utmost squelchy, demonic filth completely take you over. Really good vocal samples too. Everything works towards making these tracks as vivid and imagistic as possible. Just so incessant, non-stop, but so well controlled at the same time. May even say it's my favourite kind of dubstep when it's done this way. 10 out of 10 would recommend if wild, manic, swampy dubstep managed in a really neat and efficient way is your thing. And the tracks I would recommend to get into Fatal are Dark Side, No Escape and Helix, which placed in my top 20 singles of last year. Now, this artist, who goes by the name of Sin, is very interesting, emerging at the start of this year and releasing a slew of impactful remixes, taking on the cinematic within relatively small structures, using huge sounds to make you see the originals in a completely different light. Very dark edits that have a real drive and grisly feel to them, at times going overboard sound design wise, but I think that's their appeal. Seemingly covering everything between 100 BPM and 128 BPM, goes through mid-tempo type structures, house-like ones, dubstep too, same essence but a slightly different approach each time. Interested to see what these singles come out like, how the remix prowess translates into any future original content. It could even be the alias of a big producer, who knows, but one thing's for sure, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how this project develops. And to get into Sin, I would recommend listening to his or her remixes of Machine Gun by Noisia, Psychosocial by Slipknot, and the 28 Days Later theme tune. The last of which actually scares me a lot as someone who is petrified of zombies. I know they're not real, but what if rabies were to mutate? You know, it could happen. And lastly, we have Nano, one of my favourite lesser known producers over the last few years. Been following him since 2014, and he has been so consistent over that stretch of time. Most known for mixing really colourful dubstep sounds with Moombahton backdrops to excel in the Mumblecore genre. An artist who is very good at chopping vocals, gliding and slotting into the bouncy beats really well. Dabbled in quicker tracks too, these songs being doubly as hard hitting with the added pace, full throttle stuff, brutal but so enjoyable. Really surging musicality running through his tunes too, vibrant and fruity in the darkest way. Just been so good for so long, I feel he deserves way more of a following. 6K on SoundCloud is quite frankly a farce, considering how good some of his songs are. And in terms of recommendations for Nano, there are so many, but my top 3 would probably be Mumbo, the I Like That remix, and Nearly Almost Dead. Nearly almost dead, but not quite. And so, that is that for the first part of the Dark Electronic Music Producers You Must Follow series. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much, and as always, for tuning in. Have you heard of any of these producers before? Who are some other sub 10k musicians that you think people have to follow? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, then be sure to give it a big old thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, hitting the notification bell along the way so you can be notified whenever I upload to the Nawtystep channel. Next to my head there should be some other top 5 or 10 videos from the channel, so if you enjoyed this one then be sure to check those out too. Don't forget to like and follow Nawtystep across social media if you haven't already, all of which is linked, including all of the artists mentioned in this video, in the description box down below. And lastly, if it's naughty, then you know guys, so be sure as always to keep it naughty and stay safe. And I shall see all of you legends in the next one. Peace out.